Today on Minorah Stories. Ella never thought she'd fall for someone like Daniel. He wasn't a bad guy. At least, that's what she kept telling herself. He was kind, ambitious, charming. And when he looked at her, she felt seen in a way she hadn't in years. There was just one problem. He didn't know Jesus. Not he grew up in church but backslid kind of unbelief. He truly didn't care. He respected her faith but wanted nothing to do with it. At first, she told herself, I can change him. If he sees my love, if he sees Christ in me, maybe he'll believe. She prayed harder, quoted scriptures like weapons over his name, and bargained with God, saying, Lord, I know you can do anything. Turn his heart, please, just give me this one thing. But as weeks turned to months, months into a year, every time she bent her knees in prayer, she felt God whisper, lay it down. And every time she said, not yet. Because how do you lay down someone you love? How do you tell your heart that loving him isn't enough if he doesn't love the one who made it? She came to a breaking point one Saturday morning. She sat in church, alone, during a relationship conference. The seat beside her empty. Couples sat next to each other, taking notes, learning, growing together. For the first time, she felt the weight of the gap between them. Not just a difference in belief, a difference in eternity. Tears ran down her face as she whispered, God, I can't keep holding what you're asking me to release. And right there, she laid him on the altar. Not because she stopped loving him, but because she loved God more. Walking away was the hardest thing she had ever done. But as she left, her heart heard one truth louder than her pain. Obedience will always cost you something, but disobedience will cost you everything. It was a hard truth to accept. But for the first time in a long year, she felt a lightness and peace she hadn't felt in a long time. Minorah got home that evening and sank onto her bed, her Bible still in her bag, untouched. The worship songs from church were still ringing in her ears, but they didn't drown the ache building in her chest. She picked up her phone and stared at Daniel's name. For a moment, her thumb hovered over the call button. She wanted to do it right, to hear his voice, to explain everything gently. But deep down in her spirit, she knew if she heard his voice, she might change her mind. She froze. God, I don't want to go back on my obedience. So instead, she typed, I'm sorry, Daniel, I can't do this anymore. You're amazing, but I can't keep pretending this isn't tearing me up inside. I love you, but I love God more, and I can't keep compromising what I know to be true. I hope one day you understand. Please don't call. This is hard enough. She stared at the screen for a long moment, then hit send. Almost instantly, her phone lit up. Daniel was calling. She clenched the phone in her hand, heart racing, tears already forming. She shouldn't pick up, but she did.
Minorah, please, don't do this. Don't end us like this. We can figure it out. I know I'm not spiritual like you, but I respect your faith. Doesn't that count for something?
His voice cracked. She tried to speak, but the lump in her throat wouldn't budge.
I may not believe in your Jesus, but I love you. Isn't that enough?
Her silence hurt more than words. Finally, she whispered, That's the problem. Love alone isn't enough. We're walking two different paths, and eventually, the cracks will show. He begged, she cried. Back and forth they went, words soaked in pain, love, regret. Then finally she whispered, Goodbye, Daniel. Click. Call ended. She thought she'd feel peace, Instead, grief hit her like a tidal wave. The next few days were torture. She'd reach for her phone, ready to text him something funny she saw, only to remember he's not hers anymore. His name still sat at the top of her message list. Her finger hovered over it constantly. She didn't delete the thread. She couldn't. Not yet. At night, she'd whisper his name to God like a prayer she wasn't sure she should be praying. She missed him like an addict misses a drug. His laughter, his voice, the ease of their conversations. It haunted her. Finally, one evening, she broke. She dropped to her knees and sobbed, "God, why does this hurt so much? If this was the right thing, why do I feel like I'm breaking in pieces? Is this a sign he's my soulmate? If not, why is letting go so painful?" She wept until her voice was hoarse, until her chest ached from the pressure of emotion. Then, quietly, gently, a warm calm washed over her, and deep in her spirit, she felt God respond.
My daughter, he isn't your soulmate just because your soul misses him. What you're feeling is not a sign of destiny. It's a sign of bonding. You were emotionally attached to someone I didn't call you to. Now the bond is starving, so your soul is longing. It's withdrawal. But withdrawal in this case is not a call to return, but a call to heal. If you feed the craving by going back, you'll get temporary relief, but never true peace. But if you go through the ache and let me hold you, you'll come out free.
Those words anchored her. She didn't stop missing him immediately, but the next time she felt the urge to text him, she whispered, "I'd rather ache in obedience than smile in compromise." She journaled. She worshipped. She called her accountability partner instead of him. She threw herself into work, into purpose, into healing. Day by day, the ache dulled, the craving stopped, and one morning she picked up her phone and realized his name hadn't crossed her mind in days. Obedience broke her heart, but it also saved her future. Because what we surrender to God in pain, He replaces in glory. To you watching, perhaps you find yourself in the same situation, in a relationship with someone who doesn't share your faith, unequally yoked with someone the Lord has told, nudged you to let go. They might be kind, loving, or supportive, but can I lovingly remind you? A good heart isn't the same as a surrendered heart. God isn't punishing you by asking you to let go. He's protecting you from building a future without Him at the center. It may feel like you're giving up something beautiful, but what feels like loss now will one day look like mercy. Don't settle for love that pulls you away from the one who is love. Obedience may break your heart now, but it will protect you later. Don't run back to what God told you to release. Let Him heal what you can't. And when it's time, He will write a story that won't require you to compromise to keep it. If this story blessed you, subscribe to join this family and stay tuned so you don't miss the next one.